The following example will take a look at the Send Task workflow step, which is available in K2 for SharePoint as well as the K2 Designer that comes with K2 SmartForms. The Send Task wizard is used to automatically send an Outlook task as part of a workflow. Please note that this wizard specifically sends an Outlook task and is not assigning a K2 user task to be completed. An employee onboarding process is one example where this wizard comes in handy. You may want to put tasks in an employee's Outlook task list for reviewing new hire information. In the body of a task, you could include links to orientation documentation or benefits sites to review. You could also use this wizard in a performance review process to remind employees to complete their goals list for the next year and bring it with them to their performance review meeting. There are countless scenarios that could make use of this wizard. Basically, its use in a workflow is to schedule a task with someone that isn't meant to impact or hold up the workflow. For this demonstration, I have a SharePoint document library used to store performance reviews for employees of an organization. It contains a few basic columns related to an employee's performance review. The list also contains some properties that line up with a meeting request in Outlook, such as start and end dates, location, and a SharePoint person or group column for the assigned employee. For this demo, you'll see that I can make use of a few of these columns in the Send Task wizard as I build it into my process. Now let's jump over to the Workflow Design Canvas to see how this step works. To set this up, I have tied this workflow to the Performance Reviews document library in my SharePoint portal site. My additional step will be configured to send an Outlook task so that it appears on the employee's Outlook task list. It will be used as a notice to compile their goals list and bring it with them to their performance review. When you first drag and drop the Send Task workflow step onto your design canvas, the wizard will open up to the Task Details window and present you with the necessary fields to schedule a task in an employee's Outlook task list. To save time, I have already populated these fields with references to columns from my SharePoint list by dragging them over from the item reference group in the context browser on the right side of the window. The To field is using a reference to the assigned employee's email address from the SharePoint list. I basically want the start date for this task to begin immediately, so to do that I use the Now function from the list of inline functions in the context browser on the right. Because a manager would like to have the goals list ready to discuss on the day of the performance review, I set the due date to the start date for the performance review meeting. I'll click Next, which will take me to the message contents for the task body. This section can be set to plain text or HTML and a combination of text and data fields. For this demonstration, I'm just going to type in a simple reminder message in the body of the task. So with this being the last window for this wizard, I'll finish this up and deploy it so that the workflow is updated with this new step. Then we can test it out from the document library in the SharePoint portal. I'll run this workflow for Holly, who has a completed performance review in the document library. You can see I want to schedule a meeting for January 16th in my office at 10 a.m. So to send this out to Holly, I'll select K2 Workflows from the item menu on this document item. From inside the K2 Workflows window that opens up, I'll select Performance Reviews workflow from my list, then click Start. This runs fairly quickly, so I'll switch over to an instance of Holly's Outlook web client to see the Outlook task as it appears. So as you can see, the Send Task workflow step can be a very helpful tool when you want to add tasks to a user's Outlook task list without holding up or impacting the execution of a workflow. We would like to thank you for watching this demo on how to use the Send Task wizard in K2 for SharePoint and K2 SmartForms Designer. We hope you have a better understanding of how and when you can use this workflow step within business processes in your organization.